Hi everyone. So welcome to our class. This is Major American Writers. I want this brief set of notes and just kind of instructions to help you get through our class. I'm on our Canvas page right now. So this course is entirely online, which is great. So I know a lot of you have been learning online this past year, but even before the pandemic, I always taught online, always had a class online, and it's a great way to do different activities, to break up your schedule, and to learn different content. So, with that, this is Major American Writers, Beginnings to 1890 online, and the entirety of this course is facilitated online. So, that's great, but it also is going to require you to be super diligent about checking into Canvas numerous times during the week, at least 5 times, 4 to 5 times per week. That does not mean there's 800 things to do. It just means that in order to actually engage in the class and to be an active learner, you're going to really want to make sure that you're doing this. So I'm going to go right here to the syllabus. Click on this. It's your PDF, and this should pop up for you. Well, I'm not going to go through every single thing. I want to go through a couple important things and then get you started with the modules for the class. So like I said, I'm Professor Baker. If you haven't had me before, I'm Associate Professor of Writing, and I coordinate the English and Writing and Theater department on campus, as well as the First Year Connection seminar. My physical office is in Lawrence 317. Because of the ongoing pandemic, all of my office hours are done online, so you can sign up for a time right here. This is also linked in our modules tab, or you can feel free to email me and we can pick a time together, and we can do that through Zoom. Really easy, and we can kind of set that up. This is our course syllabus. By no means is it every single thing for the semester, but it's an outline, it's organic, and it has all of our basics of what we're going to need for the class. Canvas is going to have everything very, very specific of what we're doing. Our entirety of our class is facilitated through Canvas, so you want to make sure you're always checking Canvas, and you're always, always, always checking your email. There are no textbooks for this class. The huge advantage of this is that we are learning content from early American literature, and this means from the early creation stories, BC, pre-BC, Native American text, through 1890. Because of this, a lot of the readings and material are in public domain, which means they're free online. Also, textbooks are insanely expensive, so I don't want you to have to purchase something that is going to set you back quite a bit. Rather, we're going to use free online sources. A lot of these, if you do want to print anything out, you can print it out piece by piece, but you do not need to purchase anything for the class. However, you need to be diligent about checking Canvas each week for all of the readings and all the resources like that. This course, I'll move this over so you can see here, this is a survey of colonial, romantic, and regional American writing. So you're going to see some big names in here that you might recall, like Ben Franklin, Emily Dickinson, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Edgar Allan Poe, to name a few. And what we do, it's a survey course, so we do small samples of writing from each writer. So we'll spend 1 to 2 weeks on certain writers, and we'll keep moving on. The goal by the end of this class, you'll have such a wide repertoire of writers that you'll have in your inventory, and lots of different readings that you'll have done too. So that aligns really well with our course goals, because we're going to learn both major and secondary authors in these movements, in these time periods. You can see there's a lot of different time periods I'll show you that we're going to be working with here. And so that's really what I really like about this course, is that you get a small sampling of everything. And then that can help you also learn later on if there's something that you really like, or an author that you really like, and you want to dive more into the study of them too. So we'll be learning more about the discipline appropriate terminology, like what actually are we talking about in literature here. Not only are we looking at literary movements, but we're looking at how philosophical, historical movements, social movements kind of merge what's going on. They all help us understand what's happening in literature. And so we'll be able to connect the periods of time to kind of do all that together. We'll look at the different insights of others to help us like apply these readings, because believe it or not, you can apply a lot of these to contemporary society. And then of course we're going to write and read and discuss and do projects around this too. So that's really, really important. That aligns with our goals. Now, because everything's on Canvas, you absolutely need to have access to a computer that can use Canvas appropriately. Make sure that you also have access to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Adobe Flash, so you can see my videos, so you can listen to my videos, and things like that too. I'm going to say, this class relies on participation. It relies on class engagement. It's a literature course. It is a heavy reading load and it's a fast pace. And a lot of that too, it's online. So if it's really hard for you to do some of that self-sufficiently, this might not be the course for you. And that's okay, but you might want to realize that sooner than later so you can find something else that might fit within your schedule. Because it's high on class engagement and participation, this makes up a lot of the different activities and the work that we do, the grading that we do. And so I ask that everybody come with an open mind, an open perspective if you're going to be discussing a lot of these works of literature. All your grades are earned by your work. Everything is submitted electronically. Nothing will be emailed to me. Everything will be taken electronically. If it's emailed, I probably won't take it or open it because I get a lot of emails and things get definitely lost in there. All assignments will be given separate assignment sheets, so you'll always have weeks in advance of what you're doing. I grade everything on a 500-point scale. Everything kind of goes out of that. We have some literary analysis papers we're going to be working on, American Literature Portfolio, and then a final project, some digital projects throughout the semester. You can see class engagement. This is peer work, postings, recordings, responses, activities, surveys, responses, group work. This is a big part of class, and as well as keeping an American literature blog based on our reflection and our reading. So this converts everything over here so you can kind of see where the different letter grades line up, and a brief description over some of these. Again, all of these will have separate assignment sheets. All of your activities online, you click on them, they have directions in the module, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Late work, attendance, participation. I expect you to hand in all work on time. You are allowed to miss 1 week of discussion posts. That's the equivalent, say, if we were meeting live time. But after that, points will be deducted, and you'll probably hear from me saying, hey, I think you're missing too much in here. This might not be the right time to take this class. I have due dates in there specifically for a reason. Everything is posted way far in advance. I want you to learn as much as possible. If your work is submitted on time, you're going to get feedback and a grade from me. I will always give you the opportunity to revise an assignment for credit, but if something is not submitted by the due date, there's absolutely no opportunity for revision or reworking. I know life is super busy and stressful, especially with an ongoing pandemic and back at school and work. So all I ask is that if something comes up, you have to communicate with me. I will help you find the best solution, but I cannot assume or not assume that something is happening. And likewise, this class revolves around you, and it revolves around the discussions and the active learning and listening that you have here. So all of these different activities that we're going to be doing in an online space that mimic our classroom are super important, and it's really important to be involved as possible as you can with that. And I'll let you know how you're doing with that. You'll see different discussion forums. These are not just simple text responses. These are places where we'll do surveys and polls and questions and peer review and recordings like I'm doing now and lesson planning. These are things that you're going to be checking in. These are our virtual space for class engagement. As I mentioned earlier, you should expect to go on Canvas a minimum of 4 to 5 times a week to participate. Obviously, we're not meeting at a synchronous time. We're not meeting at the same time every single week. We don't have a set meeting time because it's an online class, but you have due dates for a lot of these things on here. So pay attention to all the different due dates. Sometimes things are due Friday and Saturday initially, and then you have through the weekend to respond. Sometimes they're due a little bit earlier. So it's really important. All of these things should come up on your to-do list for your Canvas site that you have. And it's not just responding back and saying, yes, I agree, that sounds great, that sounds wonderful, that sounds lovely. That's not contributing to a discussion. That's not adding any depth to a discussion. So I am looking for you here, as you can see by my rubric chart, how you're posting, how you're following up, how you're engaging, what are you contributing? Are you sharing resources? Are you giving us good information? Are you quoting from the text? That's really important. Like, we need to actually use the text that we're reading to give us examples and to drive our conversation. Also, we don't want sloppiness. Sometimes, yes, we misspell things, but also you want to make sure you have clarity and mechanics and references that go along with that. So I will help you with that the first couple weeks and give you a guiding point so you know. We have immensely amazing resources with the library, which are all available online, so we can make sure that we get you access to that. Please, please, please let me know if you have any accommodations. They should be on file with the different offices, and we can make sure you have everything you need. Same thing, the counseling center is so widely available for you during the semester, and with everything going on, if you need to use it for any type of means whatsoever, if you're not sure how to use it, let me know. I can get you set up and help you get an appointment. It's a wonderful space to have for anything that you want to go and talk about. Problems or no problems, it's just a fantastic resource to have. The Academic Success Center, of course, if you need tutoring for any of our topics or materials that we're going to go through, this is a great place to go, and they have both in-person and online hours. And then, of course, me. I'm your resource. Ask me questions, schedule appointments, meet with me during office hours. I want to help you. I'm so excited to have class with you. Everything goes to Canvas in your Rosemont email, so make sure you check that. Like I said, you should be spending about minimum of 10 hours a week preparing and participating in this course outside of assignments. A 3-credit course requires about 135 hours of student work, so that's really important to keep in mind, so you know kind of what your time constraints are and how you kind of want to, like plan out your weeks and plan out your schedule. Same thing here, we're going to be doing a lot of writing, so all of your writing has to be your own writing. Any breaches of plagiarism, any cheating of any kind will result in 0, a letter grade reduction, and a possible failure from the class. So let all your work be your own work, and again, if you have questions about this, always, always, always ask me. These are some important dates to remember for our class schedules, for when add drop ends, for final exams, for our reading schedule, and for the end of the semester. Now, this is a super tentative schedule, and you can see here I only made the first couple weeks specific for very purposeful reasons. I want to make sure that I know our pacing, how many of us are in the class, especially after add drop, what your preferences are, reading, not reading, that type of thing. And so I made the first couple weeks a little bit more specific and then a little less specific as we go along. Like I said, the syllabus is very sparse in terms of the schedule here. All the updates will be on Canvas, especially as I can update, and then I will update the syllabus as we go along. So for week 1, you have this to mimic here. Make sure you add your picture to Canvas. If you haven't, you're completing our welcomes. You want to watch the notes on how to use Hypothesis, because that's an annotation program we're going to use, completing our Padlet, and then our readings and letting me know if you have any questions. And this is kind of how we're going through the weeks on here. And then, like I said, these will all be more specific as you get onto our space. So I'm going to scroll back up here, and I don't want these to be too long, but to go over, always, always, always check your modules. Click on this modules tab to make sure you know and can drop down for every single menu up here. So these are different websites and texts that I'll add to that we're going to use for our class readings. I will always link to these. These are some really good resources for American literature that are going to help you with paper writing, with completing projects, with digital work, with research. These are some other general course information, so how to use some of the different things that we're going to be having in class here as part of your class engagement, and then of course another copy of the syllabus. And then this is a good example of how you should always drop down for each week. You always want to go to the directions for each week. Each week I'll post brief notes so you can have that. Every author that we're studying has different resources, so you can always click on here and they're going to give you some background, some websites, some places that you can look at in addition to my notes. And then everything is divided up by writing assignments, resources, activities to complete, and then reading links and files. So these would be all of your readings for week 1 to go through, and you can click on them, and most of these will actually be a PDF that I uploaded that you can read. So always, always, always click on the modules. That's going to be really, really, really important to make sure that you have that. And then, like I said, I only have the first few weeks up right now. I do not suggest that you work ahead. I suggest that you just take it week by week right now because we might have to switch a few things up based on if people add or drop the class and just based on our reading schedule too. So please just work within the week. Like I said, any assignment, I will always, always, always give you plenty of time to complete. And I'll always give you many reminders throughout the week as well. So I am so excited you're in this class. This is just one of many videos here. I tried to keep this one short, and I look forward to working with you all semester.